We're gonna go ahead.
Excellent. And we're going to get started,
Yes.
everybody. And I think right now, the most important thing for every single one of us, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. People need this more than ever. And I don't think a lot of members really
You never made it to
understand.
Costco. You
Whoops. Let me mute
just
everybody
eat
here.
buns and other stuff. You put your-
We're just gonna mute everybody.
There we
All
go.
right, there we go.
Okay. And
I'll do those.
all right, thanks. No, so what I was saying, everybody, is that right now, I follow this a lot. I follow what's going on with our money in the news around the world and things like that. And we truly have, and I've said this many times before, a divine mission to get this message in front of people. We can't care whether they want to get this membership or not. If we bring this in front of them and we give them the education, at least enough information for them to make an educated decision about whether or not they see value here, then we've done our role. Now, I will say this, and it's so important too, that the person you bring to the table, they look to you for confidence. They look to you that they're making a good decision. And if you're kind of, well, I think it's good, or kind of wishy-washy yourself, or asking questions yourself, I'm not telling you to fake it. I'm just telling you that you want to get as much conviction that what you have here is something that everybody needs to know about. You don't have to know all the details. You just have to really have the passion and the mentality that I've got to get this so that people at least know about this, because this is empowering. We don't want to be the message. We don't want to be the one doing all the talking, because then what's going to happen is that our friends and family are going to look at us and they're going to start evaluating what we have here based upon us and how they know us and how we may be doing in the business, or, you know, how much gold and silver maybe we've already accumulated, and we may be just getting started. And so we don't want that. We want them to be able to say, listen, or when I go to people, listen, you need to see what someone just showed me. And one of the biggest things that's going to raise that conviction, everybody, is what's coming up at the beginning of May. And you've heard it mentioned before, and you'll hear it mentioned again and again. And you might already have in your mind a mentality of, well, I'm not going to that. And some of you are already committed to going to that, and I want to applaud you. And some of you may be on the fence about that. I'm going to try and talk to everybody. We're all going to try and talk to everybody here tonight about why it's such an important thing to go to this conference. And I know that it might be in a position right now where you might be looking at, because I'm basing this upon my own personal past. You might be looking at it like thinking, I just don't have the money or the finances to get there. I don't know what I would do. Even if I got there, I don't even know if I have the money to be able to get in and get a ticket. When I went at conferences in the past, they didn't even have the food included like they do in this one. So I was trying to figure out, how am I going to eat when I get there? And so these are some of the different challenges that we had. And so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of give you a lot of ideas tonight as to why the importance of getting to New Orleans is so critical for all of your futures. Because just candidly speaking, again, from my own personal experience, if you're in a tough spot financially, that's why you want to get there. It transformed my entire life. And I will tell you my story very quickly, and then we're going to start going around and hearing other people's stories. But, you know, I was with another company, and this was back in 2002. I was going through some real struggles financially. You know, I'd been working in a call center, something that I could not stand doing. And I had just gotten started with this business and was doing pretty well, but it had not gotten to the place where it was really paying out a tremendous amount of money yet. And our conference was in Vegas, and I was living in Maine. And so the person who had introduced me to the business had called me up and said, listen, you coming to Vegas? And I was like, no, I can't. And I'm just going to use his first name, because actually I won't. But I just said, you know what, I just can't make it to this one, because, you know, I just don't have the money. My rent was coming due, and I just had my rent money. That's really all I had. And I'm working for a commission at a call center that was really in a slow period. And so, but his response was, doesn't matter, you got to be there. No, you got to be there. He wasn't accepting my excuses. And I'm not saying excuses in a negative way here, everybody. I'm saying for me that if there was $1 million in Las Vegas, or in our case, 1 million ounces of gold or whatever, okay?
In New Orleans.
In my case, it was in Vegas for where I was going in this circumstance, okay? If there was that sitting out there, I would have done everything I could have to get there. But it wasn't physical there. It was the education. It was the belief. It was the conviction that I was going to get there that would allow me to blow beyond even having $1 million. And so I decided I'm going to go. And I used my rent money. Now, this was like 3 days before my rent was due. And I used my rent money, took it out of the bank, bought my plane ticket. I didn't have a place to stay, so a friend of mine invited me to stay on his floor of his hotel room. So I took him up on that offer. I didn't have any money for food, so I packed a few, and this was not a smart idea because I realized meat doesn't keep very well in a bag. So I packed bologna sandwiches in my suitcase. And
From Maine?
yeah, from Maine. It was in a baggie, airtight. Plus, I wasn't the most, I didn't really care at that point. I just wanted to get out there and I wanted to have something to eat when I got there. So anyway, and I brought a little bit extra because I figured, again, just being honest with everybody, I'm going to win back my rent when I get to Vegas. So long story short, within 15 minutes of landing and getting to the casino, I lost all that. So that was gone in a heartbeat. So now I've got no money. And so we're going through Vegas and I'm watching all this. And I'm watching a very good friend of mine who's there as well. And he's just spending money frivolously, like, oh, he's got all the money in the world. He's going out and it's tipping here and tipping there. And I'm just like, wow, that would be great. And so we're getting back to the hotel and he doesn't realize my particular circumstance, but I hadn't been spending money all night. So he just goes, hey, listen, Mark, he goes, listen, if you want $50, I'll toss this, go swimming for it. And he takes this chip that he had and he throws it in the pool. And I'm like, wow. And I'm just thinking, and everybody's kind of like having laughs and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, wow, that's tempting because there's a couple of buffets in the bottom of that pool right there. And he goes, I'm going to double it, throws another one in. So I jump in, I'm wearing my pants, took off my shirt. It's a cold night. And I came up and I came up from the bottom holding those chips and they were 50 cents each. And he's having a laugh and everybody's having a laugh. And I'm laughing on the outside, but inside I'm humiliated. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, I can't believe this. At my age, I'm actually swimming to the bottom of a pool to get these chips so I'd have food to eat while I'm here. That's sad. And story get around, I got to meet some of the top leaders in the company because they heard that story and they're like, wow, you're pretty dedicated. So I was like, it was a good thing. I took the blessings from that experience. But the thing is that I took those chips and I went back home and I taped them to both of the corners of the lower part of my computer. And I look at them every day and I blew up that business. And every time that I started questioning my why, I would go back to the belief and the conviction that I saw because I was sitting in the nosebleeds watching people that I didn't feel I was better than, but I knew that I was just as good as walking the stage and having incredible lifestyle changes. And I'm sitting there watching it from my perspective, thinking, I know I can be there. I know I can be there. All I needed was that burning desire. I didn't need to have any knowledge or special skills. I just had to get passionate about getting them in front of the message. And when I got the conviction of that conference, that's what gave it to me and put the fire in my blood to come back and do this with conviction, knowing that I was giving them something good, that I was being good just to let them see what I had. And that all came from the conviction of being there. My knowledge increased, but I didn't go spewing that on people. I just used that knowledge to blow up my confidence and come back and say, you need to see this. When can we sit down? And I did it with conviction and passion because I knew they needed to see what I had. And we're in that same boat right now. And if you go to that conference that I'll tell you is going to be happening in New Orleans, it will transform not only how you feel about this business, but how you're passionate about how you really need to share this with people. It will change your posture. It will change the way that you approach people. You're not going to feel like you're pushing it on people. You're not going to feel like you're selling it to people. You're going to feel like, hey, listen, this is something amazing. You need to see it. You're going to be able to experience the community that really is probably the biggest intangible benefit that we have ever had in any company. People want to be part of this community. They need what we have right now. And so I just encourage you all, take from my experience, that one humbling experience changed my life forever because it lit a fire in my gut. But if I had not gone and I had not experienced that or seen that, I would not have been able to go out there and have that transformation that I felt. And so I want everybody to really kind of grasp that. I'm gonna have Danielle jump in here now, but I want everybody just again. I know money might be tight. If that's the case, then let's go out there and get some activity in to help you get that money. And then use your business money coming back to you, your profits, to turn around and reinvest back into your business. And then when you come back, you explode. This is going to be the extra money. It's going to give you the freedom you're looking for. We can help you get it.
Well, that story always inspires me when I hear it, and I probably should have gone first. But I will just say this, when I got started in the industry and I sat, going to the local trainings and then eventually regional trainings, and then finding out that there was a training that I could fly to. As a former teacher, I loved that idea, because one thing in education is we never get to go on business trips. So I looked at it, the minute I said yes to this industry, I started to view myself as a business owner. And I knew that if I wanted to reach the goals I wanted to reach, I needed to listen to the people who were on stage, the people who had paved the way, who had done what I wanted to do. And so I heard again and again, and I'm sure you've heard it, and you'll continue to hear, those who show up go up. And while not everybody is in the room is here, we'll just say a silver or a gold, you can guarantee that everybody who's a silver and a gold is always going to be in that room, right? So I would hear these kinds of things and I'm like, all right, I get it. I get that I need to be there. And so it absolutely takes sacrifice. When I got started, we didn't have a lot of money, extra money. I was a stay-at-home mom. We were living on one income, and we had to get creative on getting me out there. So I want to say to you now, this is not to guilt anybody, okay? There are sometimes life circumstances that absolutely prevent you from being able to get there. However, with that said, unless it's a wedding or a funeral, then you want to be there, okay? Where there is a will, there is always a way. And as Mark said, we can get creative. We can help you think of things. I mean, there are stories that I have heard, and that's what I want to tell you. You're going to learn incredible training. You're going to learn the fundamentals of growing your business. You're going to hear the vision from corporate. But what has always changed my life and the trajectory of my business has been hearing the stories of the people just like you and I, average people. And when I say average, I'm not saying average in that sense, but average in the sense that we're all the same, right? We're the same. And so to hear people who overcame the obstacles, overcame the objections, and just hearing their life stories, for me, that has been always been my favorite part of going to events, and continues to be my favorite part of going to events. And so I just highly encourage you, do what you can. And if you are thinking there's not enough time left, I will tell you one quick story, and then we're going to we've asked some people to share tonight. So I remember this was in a company, actually, I knew Karen in that company, I met Mark in that company, and in that company, they did what were called bashes. It was brilliant. So they had one in October on the East Coast, and they had one in November on the West Coast. Well, I was teaching at the time, and I had gone to Baltimore on the East Coast. I was working hard. In fact, I had just earned my car in that company. And I remember getting back and thinking, oh man, I wish I could go to Long Beach, because the next month it was in Long Beach, and it was a month out. And I'm like, I just can't. First of all, I was a teacher, right? So I didn't think I could get the time off, and I just put it out of my head. And one of the leaders in that company ended up calling me out of the blue and asked me if he was going to see me in Long Beach. And at first of all, I was like, wow, he's calling me, like, I was flattered, but I was like, I just can't do it. I can't make it happen. It's impossible. And so I remember that week we went to, in fact, we used to have universities just like this. This is why we do this, because we saw the power of that. And at that time, we would be in homes. So it ended up that we went to that university that night. Mark was in the room, and I told him about that phone call, and I said, yeah, he thinks I should go there. Mark looks at me and goes, you absolutely should go. And I'm like, And at this point, we were 1 week from Long Beach. And I looked at my friend Tara, who was on my team in that business. And I said, Tara, do you want to go to Long Beach next week? She looked at me and she said, let's do it. 1 week out, we booked our flight, we booked our hotel, and I went out to that event. And it absolutely was the best decision I ever made, because it showed me right here that where there's a will, there is a way. Nothing is impossible. So I just encourage you to reach out to us. If you want to make it happen, we will help you find a way. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually ask Karen. Karen has had an incredible experience in this industry, and I know that she's going to share with us her reasons why we should all be in New Orleans. So Karen.
Tell a little bit about her success and what she's.
Okay. Why don't you step?
Well, I just want to mention, Karen has made,
I'm sorry, guys. Yeah.
well, I just want to mention.
I know, I
because,
was just thinking everybody knows Karen, but you're absolutely right. Go ahead, Mark.
I mean, Karen made well over $1 million in a previous business and is extremely successful in this industry, and knows this stuff inside and out, and has been an incredible leader. And for her to actually see and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, Karen, but for her to actually see the vision about what we had here, and to be able to, in a sense, walk away from that comfort, to be able to come here because she's seeing the vision of what we had here. Her leadership is second to none. And I know that she's had amazing experiences, because we all experienced this amazing things at the previous conferences. So I wanted to give her the proper introduction based upon our knowledge of her past success that I know no one here really probably understands. So go right ahead, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I hear that and I always say it wasn't me, it was the team, helping others. And it's always, the check reflects all the challenges that you're faced with. So, and that's interesting because this is my story, you guys. So in 1995, I was introduced to this industry, and my girlfriend had started Mary Kay, and I thought, why would you do that? So I really looked down on her. I thought I was all that. I had a college education. I had a career, which I hated. And whatever. So she had just moved back into town, and I thought, well, I'll go to her meeting and then we'll go to dinner afterwards. Well, that first meeting changed my life. I saw the fun that they were having. A tear went down my cheek. I didn't want anybody to see. I didn't realize that I was not having fun in my career. So that started an almost 15-year career with Mary Kay. So what does that mean? It means a lot. Do you guys know about Xerox training? How they've always had the best training in the printing business. Xerox, it's like, if you want career training, you go to Xerox for just their training, and then you go off someplace else. Well, our industry perpetuates personal development training. And it's unbelievable the person that you become on the journey of relationship marketing. It's not about the money you're going to make. It's about the person you're going to become. And so, I always say, are you a spare time 7K member, or are you a VIP 7K member? What does that mean? It means that there's two people. There's somebody that does it spare time, which is fine. And then there's me, VIP. I do everything. I go to all the events. I will never miss a conference. I'm on 7KUs. I'm on overviews. I'm on everything as much as I can. And the spare time is sometimes they go to those events, not always, and maybe they'll go to conference. So if there's a prospect that's looking to come into the business and they come across the spare time and me, who do you think they're going to want to join? They're going to want to join someone who's in the know. There's someone who knows exactly what's going on with the state of the union of the company. They want to know that you're working the business. I want to be with you. And that happens a lot, you guys. So it's so when I was in Mary Kay, I had 15 consecutive years of seminar. And there were years that I literally couldn't afford to go. nor did I want to go. My previous husband was going through depression, and it was, we didn't have the money. We had 2 little ones at home, or my attitude was, I don't need to know. I have everything. I just don't. But I went anyways, because I knew that that's what the leaders say. You go, you don't ever miss it. And quite honestly, I learned that it fills our buckets. That's really what it is. We're there to share and educate people and get them excited about becoming an associate and becoming a copper. But what we get at conference, we get filled back up. And so we have to have that, you guys. I mean, if you're going to be in business, as Danielle said, we have to invest in our own business. So I didn't want to go, but I did. And when I did, you guys, I was so glad I did. There wasn't a seminar that I didn't cry, because that was part of the growth, part of it. Sylvia's cracking up. I know you know it. And I always walked away a better person, different, excited. I met so many new friends. So this is what I've always said for 27 plus years, you guys. If you can go, like Danielle said, go. Also, I always add, besides a funeral and a wedding, if you're having a baby. I always add that too. Then those are the excuses. But go. And if you go, and everything about that conference was not what we told you, and not what I have shared with you, I promise I'll never shadow your doorstep ever again, pushing you to go to a conference. And all those years, not one person has ever come back and said, ugh, why did you make me go? If anything, the majority of people have always come back and said, I'm so glad you made me go. So with that, turn it back over to you guys.
Awesome, Karen. Thank you so much. I love it. I mean, talk about listening to, I always say you want to copy the right cat. Karen is the right cat to copy. This lady has massive success with a massive experience. So, all right. So the next person that we asked to share, did you want to introduce her, or do you want?
No, go right ahead.
Here's what I'll say.
And we bounce it off back and forth off each other. So that's how,
Can you tell?
so
So,
compliment.
yeah, we don't always pre-plan everything. So I want to talk about why we asked this person. This lady, she's amazing. And you might already know who I'm talking about. But you want to talk about no excuses, and where there's a will, there's a way. This lady has every reason to not show up. And I'm not going to say anything else other than to introduce amazing Sylvia, who everybody will know her name. I have no doubt in my mind. So Sylvia, would you please unmute and share your story of getting to New Orleans?
Yes, thank you guys. I'm just honored to be here. I want to respect the time. So how many minutes do I have? I want to put the timer. 5 minutes.
That's 5. Yeah, that's not 10, because she holds up 5 and I held up 5. So
That's okay. And I want to start with this. Saturday, my father told me, my Heavenly Father said, how boring would it be if my story was perfect? And I was sitting in the room and thinking what just happened this week with me. So many things. My car broke down again, and it was a very expensive thing. So I was thinking about all those things, and my father told me this. So I want to back up. 5 months ago, I officially became a member of 7K. And for me, it's the best thing ever happened. The amazing people surrounding me and the amazing trainings I get. I don't recognize the Sylvia of 5 months ago. I mean, she's gone, she's dead. I told someone, I don't know who's you talking. She doesn't live here anymore. So I remember on 17th of December, 2022, that day is for me historic. Ollie, who you guys all know, we had this training and he said, we're gonna write down our vision. And I'm not good in that because I had struggled so much in writing down my vision. So what happened, I was struggling to write, and he saw that I was like thinking. He said, Sophia, you go big, write down everything but big. Write down in 6 months where you want to be, which it will be in New Orleans. Write down big things. So I said, New Orleans, I only have $50 on my account. This guy doesn't even know. $50, I need gas. I need to pay electricity, pay the home loan, buy food. What's he talking about? And then he said, Sylvia, go back. So I said, I'm going to write all these crazy things. So I wrote it down, and I have it here. And I put in here that all my expenses will be paid off to New Orleans by March 2023. Now, can you imagine that? My convention ticket, my flight ticket, my room. So I was like, when this thing finished, I was looking at that and said, I don't know how, but I'm gonna believe this man who's believing in me that I will be in New Orleans. And I like that Mark, I think it was like 2 weeks after that. And he was talking and he said, I see you guys on the stage. I was laughing, And then he said, I see you, Sophia, walking on the stage. I said, what is people? What's happening with these people? They mentioning my name every time. So let me tell you the power of words. It doesn't matter if I believe in myself. That didn't matter, and that doesn't bother any one of the people who was watching me. What Mark said stay in my head. I started every night to see me on that stage. And one day I was walking from my room to the kitchen, walking. I closed my eyes and I saw myself on that stage with all the faces I see on Zoom, laughing and clapping. The power of words. Remember, guys, I had only $50 on my account. I can tell you today, my convention ticket is paid off. Okay? Now, the next step. I need to pay my airline ticket. I don't know how, but if I could pay the convention ticket, the airline ticket will be paid off too. And then the hotel. I don't care, but my father has always cared for me. One thing I know, I will be celebrating my 50th birthday, which is on the 12th of May, 2023, with all you guys in New Orleans. So if someone can tell me, oh, I don't have the money, I cannot do it. I have a posture, let me tell you, a very kind posture. And I will say, you don't want it. Because if you really want it, you will go for it. I did. I challenged myself to dream big. You know why? Because there were people that I don't even know that loved me before I loved them. Ollie, Mark, and Daniel. I don't know these people. They were like aliens for me because I couldn't understand how people that you don't even know could love you and encourage you to aim higher than themselves. So people, let me tell you, I want to see you all in New Orleans. Don't worry about the money. The money will come, and it will come in abundance. Let's do this. Let's show the world that we are truly believers.
That was amazing.
So amazing.
Mic drop moment. I hope I didn't cut you off there when you stopped. I don't know if that was the end, but
No,
it was incredible, Sylvia. And I want everybody to know Sylvia is not even working from a country in which we're open yet. She's having to go around that obstacle and that challenge. And still, I mean, the commitment there, just imagine if you had people that committed on your team, and that commitment's going to change so many lives. And you may not even realize it, everybody. Even if you plant the seed with someone, you might walk away feeling like you failed, but someone heard your message. And because of that, they come back to you or something like that. If they don't necessarily respond positively to you, you've planted the bug in their head. And I've seen Sylvia do that. And Sylvia, I've heard of people coming back to you later, correct? That
that's
you
correct.
planted the seeds with?
Yeah,
And-
well, yesterday was Sunday. I had a friend I met at the fresh market, and I shared the 7K with her. And then, I mean, life happens, you know, and I haven't heard from her again. And Mark shared last Friday, no, the day, 2 weeks ago, about the end of the road. So what I did, because end of the road is a documentary. It's just, you know, it's neutral. It doesn't say anything about 7K, and I like that. So what I did, I said, I'm gonna do a massive, what Ollie asked us, send a massive reach out to your people. And I said, hey guys, you must see this. It's a 55-minute, but it will change your life. And I sent it to 16 people. My friend texted me on Instagram and said, Sophia, we need to talk. I said, you know, I was jumping because I said, hey, I sent you a video. She said, I'm gonna watch it. And Mark, she watched it, the whole video. So guys, don't let the minutes become like a struggle or a limiting to share the video. If people want something, they will watch it. And for me, I'm very relaxed. I told them I watch it twice for them to know. She watched it. We signed up this morning. I was in the car talking to her. Hey, do this. Yeah, go there. Yeah, do that. Okay, let's put your some money wallet. Okay, do this. Okay, do that. Okay, let's put your 7K advantage. Okay, copy this. I did everything on the phone. So, if I can do, hey guys, I'm from the Caribbean. My English is not native. You can feel the accent is different. Even though I don't care, sometimes I can't find the words. I don't care. I still keep sharing. And my secret of sharing is this. I do voice messages because I have seen and heard from people that they love my voice. So I don't text. I put the music on, I pump myself up, and I start sending voice messages. It always works. Always. Always. It worked. Hey, how are you? I was thinking about you, Maria. Hey, what's going on? I have sent voice message to people I never, ever had any relationship. And today we are friends. And that happened on Facebook. So for me, breaking through the barriers, it's possible. Okay, you guys are expert in English, I'm not, but I won't let that stop me. I'm different. Like, I'm amazing, Sylvia, and I've changed my name to Amazing Sylvia. So I'm blessed and honored to be here and for being a help to everybody. I'm open, I'm ready to help, because as you guys have helped me to reach, I'm gonna help people to reach things that they never thought or imagined. I'm blessed, I'm really blessed. One
Awesome.
phone call with Kasha has changed not only my life, has changed my boy's life. My son, Matthew, already invested $418 in Sound Money Wallet. My oldest son next month said, Mama, I'm gonna do the membership. Hey, I already said it's on my goals. I will open Curacao, and you better watch out that we will overtake it. So let's do it. So they won't say, hey, you heard about that lady in the Caribbean? She's overtaken the Caribbean. Let's do this.
Awesome.
Fantastic, Sylvia.
Amazing.
And I do want to mention before we go to one more story. I mean, that's fantastic, Sylvia. Love your energy, love your attitude. And I will say this, everybody, that video that Sylvia is talking about, The End of the Road, was referenced by Josh Anderson. It's something that had a tremendous influence on these guys actually creating this company designed for the masses to give them access to gold and silver. So I think, what?
Nothing. I'm listening to you.
Well, anyway, so what we want to do, and a couple of Fridays ago, we sat there and we played it at 4 o'clock. We do a happy hour. We come on, we share our victories for the week. But instead we decided to do it that week where we were going to play that 55-minute video. And we had a lot of members on there. And I think everybody would attest it was pretty powerful information. And it's something that very few people knew. I didn't know. And so this is what we're going to do. This coming Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time on this same Zoom, we're going to be playing that video for everybody to invite prospects onto, to get people to come on and hear the story. I sent that video out as well. Like Sylvia was saying, I put out a post. I said, I have something I want you to see. I had a lot of people request it, and I sent it out, and I was getting from so many when I was following up, oh, I haven't had time to get to that yet. Oh, I haven't had time to get to that yet. And so I know that if they do get to that, they're just not going to pop in their head, oh, I got to go watch that video. I'm going to take the initiative to basically watch it with them. And then I know that I'm getting them to see what I'm seeing. That's the idea behind this thing on Friday. And so we just want to simply say, listen, you need to take a look. On Friday, they're doing a showing on Zoom. Can you jump on it? It's just going to be a little more than an hour.
We're going to do a watch party on our happy hour, inviting our guests.
Exactly. And then as soon as it's done, we're going to do roughly about a 15-minute overview of what the 7K membership is and how it can actually help to fill in some of the gaps and the needs that video talks about. And we'll have some testimonials on there as well, but it'll be an outstanding way for people to go out there and be able to actually watch the video together with your prospects. I encourage you, everybody, don't go sending it out to people initially, unless you know for a fact they're going to do it. If you can get them on Friday, it will be so tremendously advantageous for you. Watch it with them, maybe even invite them over to your house and watch it with them, or sit down at their house, or have a group of people together. Friday happy hour, get together, maybe have some wine, cheese, and watch it together in your living room with a bunch of people. And then as soon as that's done, we come on, we say, listen, here's what our membership does and how it can help you to be able to cover all of these issues that you just heard talked about. I'll tell you what, at the very, very least, folks, you're going to educate people and you're going to get them curious. Even if they don't enroll that day, they're now going to want to know more. And so I encourage us, let's go out and take full advantage of that.
Okay. So what I want to say is that we all know, and if you're brand new and you've never been in this industry, you might hear it for the first time tonight, but you're going to hear it again. Everything we do duplicates. So when we show up to a conference, that will duplicate, because when you start building your team is going to ask you, well, are you going? Did you go? And you want to be able to say, yes, I don't miss them ever, right? Like Karen was sharing. So and I promise you, if you're going, I've gone to conference by myself without a team. Okay. I have been there, and I will tell you, when you're sitting there, when you're sitting by yourself, you will never want to go alone again. And the magic that happens when you go to a conference with one person on your team, 2 people from your team, 5, 10, it's game changing. Okay. And so we asked our next person to share, Ann Mahler, who's another incredible leader here. And we want her to talk about, because Ann experienced firsthand going to an event and bringing her team with her. And that was when we went to the Salmon River Lodge, and what that experience was. So it wasn't a conference, but it was an event. Okay. So keep that in context as Annie shares what happened when she went there and had her team with her. So Ann, did you want to add anything?
No, I had mentioned to Annie to talk about the conference.
Oh, well, no, she is going to talk. Okay. Sorry.
Okay. No, I
In
just want-
context of the conference, not the Salmon River
We got
Lodge.
to unmute her. Gonna-
Okay. Hey, guys. Thank you so much for asking me to share. I was in a very intensive personal growth workshop for 3 days, and I sound like a different person. But anywho, so you want me to talk about both in the context of duplication and team building? Yeah, basically. Okay. So first off, having just spent a week and a half in another state, connecting with people in person, I just want to say nothing good has ever happened in my life, business-wise or otherwise, that didn't come out of a relationship that at some point along the line included in-person time together. Nothing. And I've had a very blessed life in many ways. And all of those blessings came through relationships. So also my opinion and observation and experience is that if, is basically, if you want to take your business seriously in this, going to convention is a non-negotiable. And if you don't know if you want to take it, if you want to take your business seriously here, then also go, because it will help you come to clarity. And I will be honest that I've had times at different 7K events where I go, oh, I'm not quite sure if I fit into this. I'm not quite, because I'm an artist. I'm coming from a totally different background. But that's a good thing, because then I get to push up against my resistance and my edge and go, okay, what's here for me? What's the invitation? How can I find my spot here and find my place? And yes, we did have Beth McLean and Ollie and Luke and another member of Ollie's team. We were all together with Mark and Danielle and in Salmon River, and that was amazing. And we got to know each other in a completely different way. I've had other team members come to New Orleans, and my experience is that everybody who comes to an in-person event, just the number of times that I've heard somebody say, okay, now I want to do this, after being in person with the leaders and hearing them. And one little sort of nugget that I'll share with you, which I said directly to Blake recently, is that at the New Orleans convention, I really liked it. I did. And something cracked open for me differently once Tom Holdman got up on stage. And of course I was tired. I'm not really like I don't do super well with long stretches of time with other people in big groups. I need breaks. So I was tired, and also, which means that of course I'm more emotional, but also the way he spoke was so compelling that I was sitting next to Danielle, and I was like, I cannot stop. I could not stop crying. He is so profound. And what I said to Blake was that switched something for me, because I liked the 7K people. And there was a part of me that was like, okay, they're like, you know, regular corporate people at first. But then when I saw this extraordinarily eccentric, deeply like heartfelt artist speaking on stage about light and how, you know, light and color and how that became his language from a young age. And I thought, okay, this is who these guys have chosen to partner with. That speaks volumes about who they are as human beings. And though that's like, yes, you can get a sense of Tom Holdman from the videos, but it's not the same as hearing him in person. You know, it's just nothing. There is no substitute for being together in person and, you know, laughing when we're all too tired to think straight, you know, all of those things we've had. I mean, sometimes at other events, I've had like amazing brainstorming sessions with people cross-line. The relationships are completely irreplaceable. Now I feel like, you know, some of the UK team, I feel like they're my brothers, you know, because we were on a road trip together in the middle of nowhere in Idaho, figuring it out, you know? So I just think it is, especially after we've had so many of us have had so much isolation in the past few years. And now our lives are opening back up. And 7K for me is such a big part of that. And I know it is for many of you as well. And so I really invite you to embrace that and come out and play and be live in person together and get the inspiration, because it will fuel you for everything else that you want to create here. And a last thing I'll say is to hear some of the, you know, to hear Josh and Zach and Blake and, you know, all of those guys and Christy Ball talk about their personal stories on an even more vulnerable level than they could on a Zoom is absolutely priceless. That's why when I share this membership with people, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I really believe these people believe in us and they love us, because I know, I feel it. And I want you to be able to have that experience too, if you haven't already. So that is my story. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Awesome, Annie. Thank you. So powerful. So powerful. All right. And yeah, we do. You realize the connections that you're going to make, the relationships you're going to make, the friendships you're going to make, they will last a lifetime. And we can lean on each other as we go through this journey of building our 7K business from those relationships made. So we're going to ask one more person. What time is it, Mark?
8:54.
Okay. So we're going to have a hard end at what time?
Get till 3 minutes of.
All right. And because we got to hop off, we do have a bronze and above call right after this, but we're going to ask Mel. Where's Mel?
Yeah.
Mel Cook.
I'm right here.
Mel is, I got to tell you, this lady, watching Mel work is so incredibly inspiring. You want to talk about somebody who steps outside of her comfort zone. She does not let fear ever stop her from sharing 7K. And Mark and I have just, since we've met her, been blown away by her just perseverance. So Mel, would you do us a favor and share your experience in going to conference in 3 minutes, please?
Okay, I'll go as fast as I can. In true transparency, you guys, hearing everyone else share, I felt compelled that I needed to share. So I reached out and they allowed me. Anyway, I might get emotional because that's Mel too. So listening to Mark and Danielle and also Karen, I was in the first company that Danielle was in. And I was probably at the same conference that she was at. That was both of our first loves of this industry. She talked about the bashes in that other company, which I was also in too. That's where I met or knew of Mark and Danielle and also Karen. One of those bashes, I was 6 months pregnant when I went. they did a drawing for a trip. They called the name Vanessa Cook. And I looked at my friends and I said, did they say Melissa Cook or did they say Vanessa? They're like, go, go, go. I did not have my name drawn out of the hat, but I won the trip anyway. And I fell in love with corporate event, like, you want to go on the trip, like we got to go for free. My baby was 8 weeks old and I left and my husband and I went. I was a conference goer. I was not a big earner, but those conferences set the foundation for not having fear, for talking to people, for knowing the power of the conference. I took, my baby was 5 weeks old when he went to his first conference. I took him to conferences until he was too noisy to take anymore. I stood in the back of the room. He was in a stroller. I wrote notes on the garbage can in the back of the room. I had people come and hold him and talk to him and get to the conference. Like, looking ahead, we are not all now at our forever company, but those foundations that got us here came from conference all of those years. So anyway, I just felt compelled to share and let you know, just get there, it's worth it.
That's an extremely inspiring story, Mel. We know how hard you've been working, and it was so great to get a chance to meet you and Rob at the conferences. And so it just gets better and better, everybody. And we've got countless more people on here that could come on and share their stories. I mean, I'm just looking on, and I wish we had the time to do it. But unfortunately, we have a bronze and above Zoom that's coming on here in about 3 minutes. Gosh, I know you've had your hand up. I'm just going to ask you to unmute, but if you can keep whatever you're going to ask or mention just like a minute or less, that would be awesome. Go right ahead.
Hey, I forgot I had my hands up, but yes, thank you for reaching out to me. And my question is actually to you, Mark, because you said that when we go to this conference into New Orleans, you said that we will get excited about this. So my question is, if I'm already excited, how excited do you think I'm gonna be after? And that's my question. Thank you.
That's a great, great question. Here's the thing I'll tell you. It's the thing that's going to make you successful in this business, everybody, is not your knowledge. It's not how well you can present. It's not how articulate you are. It's how much people can see and you convey that full belief and passion and commitment that you are committed to your cause. When people see that and they get the impression that you're going there with or without them, then they want to follow you. If you're doing it if you're giving off the impression that you need them, then they're going to play games with you. And it's just like they'll string you along. And so the mentality that I have, I don't care how great you are, is I'm going to plant the seed and then I'm on my way to the next appointment with a smile on my face, and you'll create that fear of loss and they will follow you. But that comes from your full conviction there. If your belief is strong now, Kasha, when you come out of there, you're going to be a rocket ship.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're not even gonna need your airplane to get home because you're gonna be
Exactly.
flying home on your excitement. And I will
100%.
tell you, every time I've gone to an event, I have seen a shift in my business. So there is something magical that happens when you surround yourself in that energy, right? Because everything is energy, and that the vibration that you're gonna leave conference with, people are going to feel it. They're going to be attracted to it, and you will see the results in your business. So you'll be hearing us talk in the next month about making sure that you are filling your funnel between now and conference.
And use this coming Friday for all those people out there who are not educated on gold and silver in particular. We're going to be playing this video starting at 4 p.m. sharp. So you want to try and get on a little bit earlier. Okay,
Go ahead.
awesome.
All the way
Hey,
from
Martin and Danielle, thank you so much for having us over. And I wanted to say thank you, Sylvia, for grabbing the membership. And I hope, we will all inspire so many more people that they are too shy to grab it yet. Thank you.
Yes, and
And we've got one more minute, but I want to give a huge shout out to Jessica Gamlin. who just said, when I joined 7K almost a year ago, I saw how amazing the conference was. Where did that go? In Vegas looked. I knew then I was going to be at the next one. I'm coming all the way from New Zealand. And I'm not even jabbed. So what? But she's gonna find a way, because where there's a will, there's a way. Jessica, I cannot wait to give you a giant hug when you come to New Zealand, to New Orleans.
Yeah, and remember, everybody, Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern time, what? I'm just trying to remind people, it's gonna be on this Zoom, and you're gonna see something posted in Freedom Family.
Yeah, we'll be talking about it all week.
Okay, all right.
Bronze and above call right now. Check your
Everybody have a
email.
great one, and see,
And then
everybody,
corporate call after
corporate
that.
call on after that. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
everybody.
Danielle.
And thanks for all our great speakers.